Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of our Hama sessions. Today we are with Quaison from Lost Words, and I'm always with Jay. Hi, Jay. How are you doing?
Hi, Astro. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Roundtable DAO TV show. We have a special treat for you today. We will be talking with Lost Worlds. Lost Worlds is an NFT platform experience where NFTs are geographically bound to real world locations for collectors to discover and mint. The platform also gives creators and brands the ability to use geolocation as a medium. Today, we will talk with Quaison, like Astro said, Chief Executive Officer of Lost Worlds. He has agreed to show us this wonderful world and give our viewers the vision of this platform. Stay tuned to the whole show as we will allow viewers to ask live questions and have a chance at a prize for the best one. Now, before we start, I'd like to remind everyone that these shows are possible with support from you, the viewers. So please just take a few seconds to follow our channel and hit a little like on this video. It really goes a long way and it will help us bring more valuable content to your screen. Hi, Quaison. Welcome to the show. We're very glad to have you here. Let's get to know you better and your project today.
Hey, how you guys doing, man? It's good to be here. It's actually not too bad of a day here in New York. I'm happy to be on. It's not as dreary as the past couple of days have been. So to the point where I have like some nice glitter around me.
Nice.
How you guys doing?
All
Doing
good,
good,
good.
doing good.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we can go with the first question. So you can talk to us about your project. This it's very interesting. So I guess this is the first question everyone want to know about.
Yeah. So I mean, Jay gave a really good introduction. What we're doing is location-based NFTs, right? The mission at a high level of what Lost Worlds is that we want to bring utility to the NFT space. And when we say utility, we're thinking about this idea of real world utility. We went through all of the phases of the early days of the PFPs. If you could even go back to like Mooncats, CryptoKitties, Mooncats, then
Yeah,
Hashgraph,
yeah,
Hashmass when those guys came out.
yeah,
And the concept of non-fungible tokens are are really cool, and it's very novel, and we want to be a part of the journey and step to making NFTs usable within the real world. The 30-second pitch that I give in terms of why location-based NFTs or why real-world NFTs are super important is because there's this kind of like, and sorry, like I'm kind of have like a weird philosophy background. It's kind of this weird Hegelian dialectic. I don't know if you guys studied Hegel, but this idea that everybody is talking about the metaverse and what the
yeah.
metaverse could be and how great the metaverse will be. But I can tell you guys are, maybe around my age, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older, whatever that may be. But I know we're not all 100% ready to put on the Oculus and boot up into the Matrix
Yeah,
100% of the
yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Not yet.
And the vision of this metaverse is really kind of leaning towards that. I don't think that's for like another 3 or 4 generations. I'm not even sure I want to be a part of it.
Mhm.
But there is going to be this intermediary, this medium in between, in which we can bring these digital experiences into the real world. AR, in my opinion, is kind of the way to do that. That's something that we're thinking about in the future as we kind of develop and build the validity and use case of what we're building. So the steps to get there is about how do we bridge that gap? How do we get it out of its nuanced, nascent kind of environments where people are just online minting chickens and egg and then turning that into feed and then having their
Yeah.
own world within there. But how do we bring that to the real world? How do we get the people who know nothing about NFTs, right, or know nothing about how to hold a wallet, all right, their seed phrases, etc., to be able to engage with this world without even realizing that they're engaging with this world. So first we start with the base of the technology. We focus on the consumers that actually understand this, work out the kinks, and then eventually it becomes this application that has real world utility for everyone. So that's it at a high level.
So how can NFTs really bring real world community through location?
Yeah, and that's like one of the bigger things that we are working on, right? This idea of, because NFTs have real world, the location-based NFTs have real world utility, meaning that you have to go to a specific location in order to mint an NFT, right? You have to actually be there, right? And we have other kind of tooling that's coming out, and I'll show you guys if we have time on our roadmap of other ways of playing around, some alpha for you guys. But initially we have these things, stationary NFTs. I have to go to the Empire State Building in order to mint this special NFT of the Empire State Building. And what happens if all of us go there, all right? Everybody in this chat right now, and we all go to the Empire State Building and we all mint that NFT at that Empire State Building. Let's call it a month from now, 2 months from now, you're showing.
Yeah, going.
Oh yeah, you're showing your NFTs to everybody, right? We're sharing and showing our NFTs to everybody. And it's like, oh wait, you went to the Empire State Building too? Yeah, I went to the Empire State Building too. And that's a shared experience. And shared experiences, in the way that I think about it, is the start of community, right? Because communities are about shared background, shared experiences, shared traits, shared likes and interests. So by having a location-based NFT where people are going to something and they're having an experience in a real world, because these are digital assets, I can, using Collabland or Avax Rarity, I can spin up a Discord community of all these people who had the same experience, right? Think about it from the point of view of like a football game, and everybody is at El Clasico, and I dropped 2 NFTs. I dropped the Real Madrid NFT and I dropped the Barcelona NFT, and people are minting them, and maybe it's the greatest El Clasico ever, and they're all in this group, this one shared experience, and they have proof. They have a badge of honor that says, hey, we were at this El Clasico, and that's how friendships are developed. That's how bonds are developed. Businesses, ideas, like all sorts of things come out of it, to the point where I can't even think of it. So we're just creating this tooling or this base experience for people to find ways of connecting and experiencing both with each other and within the real world.
That's amazing. I really agree. The shared experience is going to help the space. Astro, I believe you had another question.
Yeah. So how the Avalanche ecosystem is helping the NFT ecosystem? So how it's working on Avalanche?
Yeah. So if I don't know how old you guys are in the crypto space, right? Or how you've seen the ebbs
we
and
have
flows.
Good experience. We have good experience. about 6 years, 7 years, easy.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you've been around long enough to at least see some of the kind of the things that pop up and fizzle out. And and this is an opinion, so I'll leave it as an opinion, or just everybody to just look at that as an opinion. And I'll work backwards. Solana, as of a couple months ago, was the NFT or gaming ecosystem, right? Because of the way NFTs could be utilized, right? The challenge with Solana,
the chain of the moment,
exactly. And the issue with Solana is that it's centralized, right? It's it's breaking all the time. People forget that Solana is still in beta, right? They tell you that it's in beta. It's actually not a full chain. It just got a VC pump, right? Where all the VCs are saying this is the best thing that's going to come out, right? I'm sorry if there's any soul boys.
No, it's all fine.
Oh, good. Good opinion.
But before that, it was a little bit of BSC, but before that, the main chain was always Ethereum. What our issues with Ethereum is just the congestion, the transaction speeds, right? The expense. So it didn't allow for us to have the right type of experiences that we want. And Avalanche is in this unique position and this place where it is it solves for a lot of that, right? It's like one of the, it's in essence, it's the way that I think about it. If it's not top one in most of the categories, it's at least top three or four, or top three or five. And the ecosystem that's being built within the space, both from the point of view of collaboration across projects, and I could talk about that with the Avalanche Summit, as well as from, you know, just the core technology and the future roadmap of the technology. Subnets, people don't realize how crazy subnets are going to be, and the way and useful, and how it's really going to change the world in terms of what any application can do and bring real world utility to the space. So, and then in addition to that, just on a practical level, their business development team at Ava Labs that supports them, they are like probably one of the better teams. Like they're very present, and they're on a mission to make sure Avalanche is an established part of the crypto ecosystem. So well, that's the main reason why we chose Avalanche, and we have such support from the team, right? We have support the team in many different ways. So that's like, yeah, we love it from that point of view.
Awesome.
Well, I don't know. Do you have something to share with us?
Yes, I was going to say maybe we can see a small demo of what you have, and then allow for live questions after that.
Yeah, I could do a few things, and you guys let me know what you want to do. So I could show you just like a brief kind of demo of the app. I could show you, I could actually just do a quick just run through of like some of the what happened at Avalanche Summit. Didn't really get to talk to you guys about that, where we soft launched our application. So at Avalanche Summit, what we ended up doing in here, let me just share my screen.
Yeah, you should be able to share. Yeah, I guess.
So actually,
give the viewers a little bit of both. I think they'll be super happy.
Yeah,
for sure. Actually, let me do this. I'm gonna share. I'll just share a video. I'll let the videos do the talking. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
And this is really just about community and how experiences get developed within the space. So, you know, we soft launched at Avalanche Summit. And what we did is we worked with 34 of the best projects within the Avalanche space. So that's Trader Joe, that's Pangolin, that's Platypus, that's Chicken, that's Appas, that's Hoppers, like literally everybody. They gave us a bunch of NFTs and we dropped them all over the Poble. It's this huge space with 4,000 people all over. And we soft launched it. We made like a tiny announcement, and then within minutes, right, you know, people are just running around all over the Poble. And don't mind my hyper excitement, because I'm just like, oh my God, people are using it.
Yeah, we are getting excited too now. I want to see this video.
It's normal.
This is just one video of just me running around and like not just randomly running through the Poble and just seeing people use the app. I'm not telling them to use the app, and they, you know, they see me with my Lost Worlds thing and there. So this is one.
Okay.
Hey, what you doing over there, man? Are you trying to mint? No.
Está muy a 15 metros. Yo, you're minting some NFTs.
What'd you say?
Minting some NFTs here from Chicken.
I love it, man. So that was one, right? And it's just this idea of like, okay, people are really liking. I'll share you another one. This is actually one of my favorite ones, because it was like I was trying to rest, and these guys were like, I'm like, what are these guys doing over here? And it took me a second to realize what was happening. So
the excitement.
So it was like, and I have videos like this for days, right? So in essence, we'll share them all more on Twitter. But what was happening is you're starting to see people just running around and just like, wait, I want this. It was that real Pokemon Go like experience. Like people always call us that. And I don't necessarily like it, because I accept it. We take it, right? Because the experience is there. We are very much more, right? There's so much more things that we do, right? We can supplement a Pokemon Go like experience, but there's so much more. But to see people having these experiences. We also minted a boat party. It was like an exclusive 250 now infamous boat party because we decided to take a boat in the middle of winter in Spain with crazy waves, so we had to turn the boat around. But the ticket could only be minted at the Poble, and I'm literally running over, and I can pull up the video if you want, but there's just a bunch of people I'm thinking people are just hanging out. And then it dawns on me, wait a minute, all of these people are here waiting for these tickets to drop, right? And to the point where they broke the app in like the first few minutes. And we were panicking on the side, just trying to get it going. So that was one way. And so, I know we may be running on time. So let me see if I can share just a background of the
people would love.
Yeah. So this is just the app in itself, right?
Okay.
And there's not any mints outside of the Poble mint that's available at the moment. So I'll show you. Right now, you would enter the app through your smartphone. When we actually launch our product, you will actually need to stake some lost token. And the staking the lost token is almost like a ticket entry to an amusement park, right? So you're staking for that entry into the amusement park, and it gives you access to different features and applications on there. So as you can see, this is just a map location. You guys can tell I'm in New York over here. And here is the NFTs that we dropped at the Poble. If I click on that, it zooms in. A little bit of lag on the video.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
No, that's great.
You can see that this is the actual Poble event that was going on, and these are all the NFTs NFT drop zones, or we call them, that you can, right? So at the mainnet stage, there was 122 NFTs, and
wow. How many NFTs total?
1,000.
Okay,
1,000. And so it's a funny story. We had a little bit of bug issues in the morning of the summit, to the point where we weren't able to launch until the end of day one. And so most of the people were gone, and half the NFTs minted out within an hour after the end of the first day of the summit, because there was still people figuring around and minting, right? So it was just a very great, oh wait, this works. So there's a few things that were happening. So this is an APA voucher, right? This was one of the NFTs that we had specifically for the Avalanche Summit. I don't know if you guys can see that. Heroes
nice
of
art,
NFT. These are all things that people won. We also created a very new innovation within the space. Innovation, it was just out of necessity, because if there's an existing NFT project, right, if you needed to mint it through our platform, we would have to wrap it. And that's not really a good experience, because that means it's not the actual NFT. So we created these NFT vouchers. And what the NFT vouchers would do, in essence, it allows you to redeem it. Well, we auto redeemed it, but this is something that I had where if they were unredeemed, it would be green, in which you would press redeem. It would send you a signature, and that signature would send your information to the project to say, hey, this person is ready to redeem their NFT. And then we can create automation in the back end so that they can auto send that NFT. So it just creates a world in which we can take existing projects, say, for example, an NFT project that didn't mint out, or an NFT project that wants to get re-life and wanted to say, hey, I want to drop these location-based NFTs with our project to give it a new brand life. There's ways in which we can facilitate that. So
it's great.
So
it's really good. We have a lot of excited people with us. I don't know if you'd like to start with a few live questions.
Yeah, let's go. Let me stop share.
I have a first one here that asks, would you guys have measures for non-location minting? like spoofing the location without actually being there for those people that can't travel?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good question. So there's two things that we're really focusing on in here, right? So it's to remember that location spoofing is like a big issue within the space. Like Pokemon Go is still working on that as a high
Mhm.
level. We have very strong anti-spoofing mechanisms built within our application, and then
Great.
we're also implementing banning. So like if we catch people using kind of advanced software to try and spoof, right? It's actually not easy to just generally spoof, but like if you have to
Okay.
use some advanced software to spoof, we could see that stuff, and which
Okay.
we'll put bans on. And then added on to the fact there's a wallet address associated to it. So we could ban the wallet address as well, right? So there's different ways in which we could think about that. And it's just to remind people that it is very much an experience platform. There's other ways. Another thing that we're doing, right, just to help facilitate or ease the pressure of somebody wanting to go to spoof, right, in the first place, is we
Mhm.
created something called bounties, and it's on our roadmap.
Okay.
And I could probably share a little bit about that in our deck, or I could just talk about it. So,
Sure. Love that.
where you guys, if I don't know if you guys dox your location, but where are you guys based? Any one of you?
Well, I'm in Canada.
All
I
right.
think Astro's in
Italy.
Europe,
Yeah.
Italy.
All right. So say there is an NFT at the Naples Stadium, right? And
Uh-huh.
Napoli, I can't remember. And
Napoli.
and Napoli. Sorry, I'm American.
No,
It's
no
bad.
problem.
It's all good.
So there's a stadium and there's an NFT mint there, like because there was some concert, right?
Yeah.
Shakira was having a concert there, and I love Shakira, right? Because who doesn't? But and I wanted to mint that NFT, but I'm not there. But you're there. You're at that concert right now. What if? And we found this out very early that in like people in our Discord, they would be asking people like, "Hey, can you mint it for me? I will pay you to mint it for me." So what if we literally make that available to the users, bounties, where, hey, if somebody's going to be here, I will pay you 100 loss or 1,000 loss, right, for you to mint this NFT for me, right? So again, now what we're doing is we're creating an economy where people can literally just who love to travel, who are just minting NFTs for other people, and earning from them as well. So that is another way that we can ease that pressure, but also create an economy or a system for people to be able to mint.
Okay.
Yeah, there is
Awesome.
another nice question. There are really a lot, so we probably will go fast, so we can read a lot of questions. So, are you considering making a deal with a travel app or travel company?
Yeah, yeah. We're in talks with some right now. Like, I'll leave it at that. Like, if we want quick answers, yes,
Okay, okay,
we're in
yeah,
talks with one of
it's
the
a
big
good
ones.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
To start my journey in Lost Worlds, do I need to buy some NFT characters or items, or is it provided free to get started? Do I also need to invest a certain amount of tokens to be able to enter Lost Worlds? Now, I know you
Yeah, it's good.
answered a part of that with staking. Maybe you could give me more details.
Yeah, yeah, good question. So you don't need to like purchase any NFTs as of yet. Like we may have certain things coming down the pipe where we may release specific NFTs that open up certain experiences, but that's not like in the next couple months or so. But in order to access the platform, you will need to be holding and staking a certain amount of loss. Now, what's fun is that, the staking has APY on it. So like it's not like you're just holding it and it's just sitting dead, right? So you're actually
Win-win.
earning for the stake. It's a win-win. And there's different levels of staking to the point where as we start onboarding more and more projects, right, and those projects are generating revenue, if you are what we call our gold tier stakers, you will be a part of the revenue share of, you're part of the DAO, but you're also a part of the revenue share of the funds that we're generating on the application. So, the more you stake, the more you earn. Yeah.
Great.
Great news.
So, someone is going direct to the point. Can you tell me about your partner so far? And I really want to know the use case of the project in the real world. So, I guess we already talked about this. You can give some more details if you can, or just a yes no.
Yeah, there's, I mean, it depends on what you mean by partners. Like, there's a number of ways that I could approach that. I have partners, we have partners everywhere, right? So for example, like we talked about Avalanche Summit, we have 34 of the top Avalanche projects and products as we have open communication with them. They are projects and products on our application already. A lot of them we're talking to about launching on the Lost Worlds application. So if you think about some of your favorite NFT projects, what would happen if all of a sudden they dropped their own location-based project on Lost Worlds, right? And these are some of your favorites. So that think about that in the real world, right? Like I mentioned, like we're in talks with some tourism companies. One thing that I will say in the near term, our primary focus is the Avalanche community, because this idea is so big that we can easily bite off more than we can chew. Because it's a huge idea, and I think that could potentially be a detriment. So some of these guys we were like, hey, this is an interesting opportunity, but let's get our home right first. Let's take care of our base first. So really focusing on events in the NFT space, in the marketing space, where like they already get it. And then we could fix bugs and understand how to use the application better within there. But yeah, that's pretty much our focus at the moment. But I also answered the question about partners. So
That's great. Listen, I'd like to take just a little pause from live questions because there's something I was really interested in. I think Astro too.
Yeah.
We'd like to know more about maybe continents and portals. Can you give us
Yeah.
any details about that? I think it would be great for the viewers to know about it.
for sure. So we're going to be launching in a week actually, with our two kind of internal projects, right? One called Continents and one called Portals, right? They'll be our first like official drops that show up on the application itself, outside of Lost Worlds, or outside of the what should I say? Outside of the Avalanche Summit.
Environment.
So
Okay, yeah.
yeah. So, yeah. So I'll share this really quickly. So I'll start with Continents. So Continents is going to be our first NFT drop that drops on April 12th. So about a week and a half, week from now.
Write that down.
It is what we're calling a global NFT experience, right? So the idea behind Continents is that we're going to be dropping 250 video audio NFTs that represent each continent within the world, 250 each, right? So there's going to be 250 North America, 250 South America, right?
Okay.
Here goes an example of one of them. So this is
I guess you can share your desktop again if you need to.
sharing it.
Maybe we could try again.
Okay, I can interrupt
again.
mine so you can share yours, maybe. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So this is one of the NFTs. This is what North America looks like.
Okay.
Wow, that's good quality. That looks good.
So yeah, 7 continents, and you can hear the city in the background because that represents North America, right?
Nice.
We're dropping, so if you're in North America, you can mint them, right? If you're in Europe, you can mint the Europe one. If you're in Asia, you can mint the Asia. Turkey's going to be a fun one because they're going to be on. They can technically mint both depending on where they are.
Nice.
So, and that's just the first part of it, right? So there's this opportunity of having this location-based NFTs, but then we added achievements to that. So all these NFTs will be available on the secondary marketplace, so you can buy and sell, right? If you mint 2 North Americas and you sell it on the secondary marketplace, right? You can sell one and somebody can buy them. The first 5 people that collect all 7 continents, all 7 continents, can burn them for a world NFT, and it'll be a 1 of 5,
Wow.
right?
Oh, this
Okay.
is a nice.
A race for greatness. That's nice.
Exactly. So you have to make this choice or decision, right? It's a super rare one,
Yeah.
right? And there's only so much that are there. And again, what we're doing is just showcasing different tooling and fun opportunities within it, right? You're also getting lost token as reward for each mint, right? And then you get a big reward if you make the choice of burning your continents in order to get the world NFT. So I'm actually really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I really love the way you bring the community together. That it's your global mission. It seems in every action that you do as well. How about you tell us more about the portals? Just so we don't forget about that
So
one.
Portals was our baby, right? So Portals was actually the way that the project kind of came about, right? The concept of Lost Worlds, and there's a Medium post here. I'll share that. Here, I'll share it from here. So
Okay.
there's a Medium. If you Google Portals Lost Worlds, you can get a lot more detail. So because I want
Okay.
people to dive
Yeah.
and dig into. But in essence, what we did, and this is going to be an ongoing series if people really like it, right?
Okay.
So with our artist Sam, we sat down and we said, what would happen to our world if we don't take care of it, right? What would happen to the most famous landmarks that we really care and love if if certain things happen, right? So what would happen to the Louvre if global warming took over? What would happen if people abandon it? What would happen to the Golden Gate Bridge if earthquakes hit? What would happen to the inside joke that we have about the Louvre in France is that the French love to riot. So what would happen if there's a riot in France? So what we did is we created these alternative reality. You get to go to the Louvre, right? Here goes one. And there's 5 alternative world realities when you go there, and you can mint one of these NFTs, and they have different rarities and different kind of experiences. So this is the common one. So this is just the Louvre as it is today. What would happen if it was untamed? What would happen if, remember the Louvre is housing everything related to Egyptian art, not everything, but it has Egyptian artifacts. What would happen if the Egyptians stole it back, right? And if you notice, there's like little details here. There's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Egyptian flag.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes,
And
yes. Nice.
what would happen if there was like a rebellion? Because but then also we have a positive note. What would the utopia of these locations be? So that we have it there's 6 locations that we're starting with: the Empire State Building, the Louvre, obviously, the Brandenburg Gate in Germany, the Golden Gate Bridge, right? So we have, I'd see, these are some of my favorites, right? What would happen if it was overtaken by mist? What would happen if it was scorched earth? Because like it's, they have water problems in California. This is what happens if there's a quake, and you can see the bridge.
Yeah.
So we have the Hagia Sophia, right, in Turkey. And then we have Gardens by the Bay in Singapore. What would happen if it was water? This is one of my favorites. It's the Matrix, like, because Singapore is like this futuristic city. What would happen if robots took over, right? So there's all of these like super
So nice.
cool
Yeah.
opportunities. This is the artist Sam. But yeah, we definitely want from the community, like, what location would you want next, and what are the things that are impacting that location's community that could potentially end it that we need to be aware of. And that's the mission of that. I think we're working on London right now, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that's too much alpha, but yeah, we want
There's
to
never
keep that.
too much alpha. It's all good.
There's going to be so many locations, and we want the community to start telling us what locations are going to come next, right? Because then you think about it, hey, all these people who minted the Hagia Sophia, they're now all part of the Hagia Sophia community. The Singapore community, all the Singapore NFT community, right? This is kind of the things that we want to push out. So Portals drops the 14th, I believe. Yes. So Continents is the 12th, Portals is the 14th. Yeah, so we're super excited about this one. And it's the same thing. There's going to be little achievements, like if you capture all the ice versions, the water versions, the heat hot versions. There's a whole bunch of games that we can play for achievements within there. So yeah, we're really excited about some of these two projects and when they're going to drop. You can also go to Portals NFT on Twitter, and that we talk about it a little bit more there. But you could also just check out Lost Worlds NFT.
Yeah. Another, maybe we can ask another two questions from the live public. I see this one. How can I join the beta test if there is any? So if someone finds some bugs, so I want to share, so the feedback where should be sent.
Yeah, so there's two things, right? So, and it's actually something that I missed. So I'm actually happy that they brought this up. So if you remember continents, right? How are you? I don't think there's going to be that many people that are going to travel to Antarctica, right? We didn't assume that.
It might be difficult.
So we made the decision to whitelist the Antarctica continent. And the whitelist is gonna be with a few things. One, and we're gonna announce it shortly. It'll be if you're a holder of certain projects within the Avalanche community. So if you think of some of the big ones, right, and some that actually haven't been announced yet, maybe we're not sure. We're working on it behind the scenes. Some new ones that we have some output through, but we can't tell you.
You're telling already.
It might rhyme with Well, actually, I'm not gonna say that. But the other way is to get into our Discord and to actually contribute. And if you contribute past a certain level, you get a different role, and that role whitelists you. And as you start getting more roles, then we start opening up people to that beta test or to like new features that are coming out. So as you are kind of engaging versus just sharing it with everybody, like when you're beta testing, you want a closed group of people just to be able to kick the rocks, because people, you let it open to everybody. It was like, how come this period isn't how come there isn't a period at the end of this sentence? And we want to focus on the core functionality of the application at its moment. But the way, if you want to be a part of our community, be a part of our community.
It's clear. So,
all right. Astro, I'm sorry.
I found a last one. So, will Lost Worlds provide digital NFT redemption services in physical form? So, that is, will you work with third parties for the physical distribution of NFT or something similar? So, this is a nice question also.
It's a nice question. I'm not sure if I completely understand the direction of the question. I get to take a shot at it and kind of share with you some of the possibilities that we're looking at, right? So, or I'll say it this way. At the end of the day, Lost Worlds is just a platform that's offering tooling for anybody to create experiences that they want to create, right? So if there's a project that wants to facilitate that, we will definitely work really hard to create the tooling to facilitate different types of experiences. Now, when it comes to like for example, we did at Avalanche Summit, there were people who won vouchers to like t-shirts, and that's physical merch, right? So once you press redeemed, it was just an NFT that says redeem, and then they walked up to the booth and said, hey, I just redeemed this t-shirt, and then they got their t-shirt. So that's a very simple way of doing it. But then there's also things, maybe there's too much alpha. Again, you said there's not enough. What would happen if we were to create or use beacons as a means of location-based services, right? So I don't know if you guys are familiar with beacons, or if you know like how Google businesses work, right? You can put a beacon in your store, and what it's doing is it's tracking the location, but it's also tracking how many people are engaging and whatnot. And
like a physical pin, basically.
Exactly, and it serves a number of purposes. That's not in our immediate future, but it's something that we're exploring as an idea, and that could facilitate, again, that real world to digital experience.
Okay, That's great. Well, listen, we had a great conversation today. Before we go off, Quaison, I just want to know if there's anything that you wanted to tell our viewers, perhaps that we didn't talk about or that you weren't asked about that you think is really important for us to know.
Yeah. Well, it's more. I want to reiterate.
Mhm.
Portals and Continents is on 412 and 414. So if you guys
Yes.
join the Lost Worlds app, they'll be our first mints. Staking of Lost Worlds is gonna Lost Token is gonna release very shortly.
Mhm.
Probably within the next 24 or 48 hours, I would say. And I don't
Mhm.
don't hold me to it, but like it's coming. But like you'll see the announcements on the Twitter that's coming. Also, you could buy lost the Lost token on Trader Joe, Pangolin, and MEXC is we have an exchange that we're about to launch with. And either I believe it's going to be tomorrow. At this point, we're
Mhm.
working on that again. We're just finalizing that. And yeah, there might be farming rewards coming on those. So if you want to help with providing liquidity and bootstrapping our liquidity on Pangolin and Trader Joe, just look out for that as well. That announcement may come, faster than you realize. But the most important thing is, we want people to experience
Mhm.
location-based NFTs. If you're in any continent, mint continents NFTs on 412. And if you're near one of the 6 locations, the Louvre in France, Brandenburg Gate in Germany, the Empire State Building in New York, the Gardens by the Bay in Singapore, the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, or the Hagia Sophia in Turkey, go and mint for you, mint for your friends, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
share that experience with people.
100%.
Uh,
Again, Quaison, thank you so much. People, 2 dates to remember. I'll repeat it another fifth time again, but make sure you remember those dates: April 12th, April 14th. More details on their Twitter. Make sure to follow us. Make sure to follow Lost Worlds as well. Thank you again, Quaison. Astro Park, thank you as well. Any last words, maybe, to our interviewer?
yeah, it was really fine, really great. Quaison, something to tell more? All
No,
good? Okay.
I'm super happy that I'm here. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're super happy to build a community, and we want everybody to follow us. I'm Quaison. We'll see you guys in both the real world and the metaverse.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Let's do this again.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.